marched and fought and died for. These constitutional rights, you know what I'm saying, are not to just be trampled on, they're to be upheld. And if you apply them properly, then you can make these prison officials accountable when they cross those lines, when they just blatantly violate your rights, and you will bring them before the court of law and hold them responsible for everything they've done to you, and make them own what they've done to you in a punitive manner, because they have punitive damages, and this is supposed to deter prison officials from engaging in these same type of misconducts against prisoners. They have compensatory damages to where they compensate you for any monetary loss that occurred as a violation of your constitutional right. And then they have injunctive relief where you can ask the court to expunge the write-up because they violated your due process and denied you a fair and impartial disciplinary hearing. You know, you can ask the courts to take certain actions to protect you through injunctive relief. So these are just the many things that prison officials get away with because of the inmates' lack of knowledge and lack of understanding about everything that surrounds being educated will help you have more insight and a clear view of. So I really encourage, you know, a lot of the prisoners to really, really take a close look at yourselves and understand that your education is a tool that sharpens your brain. Inmates can sharpen each other by sharpening, you know, their knowledge on the law, the regulations, and just how you conduct yourself. Because there's a lot of things that we spend more time doing in prison that is non-conducive to get better in our situations. You know, and a lot of people won't speak to these matters because
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
A lot of the inexperienced prisoners of prison are being utilized, you know, as tools, you know, for other people's accomplishments. And, you know, I've never personally been a user of the people. You know, I stand for the matters that pertain to me, and I don't drag people into my mess when I do something that's, you know, not cool. But it just seems that, you know, misery really does love company, and a lot of people have a tendency to drag masses of our people into messes that don't have anything to do with them, doesn't have no real significant value other than pride and ego, and doesn't provide for a way for a person to find his way home, as opposed to always getting cracking and getting on some black on black violence or whatever ethnic you are violence, and you end up with another life sentence or headed to death row. It just doesn't make sense, you know, for people to be used. You're supposed to be smart individuals. We're all supposed to be smart and intelligent, but when we get so smart that we think we're outsmarting each other, that's when it becomes a problem, you know. Got to learn how to love each other and care for each other, you know, and be more unified in our efforts, because if we're all in prison for crimes and we're all in prison because the laws subject us to these things, then we should be the ones who collectively come together and put our minds together to combat this and find our way out of here, unless, you know, the choice is you choose to stay in prison for the rest of your life, and I hate to say, and being ignorant for all of your days. So, I just hope that message is being conveyed, you know, and I'm pretty sure it'll be met with criticism, because there's other people who are, you know, I guess street smart, may think otherwise.
Right.
And that's not to say or point out anyone particularly, but they know who they are.
Well, it's a difference between, street, being streetwise and being educated. And you can have both. So you were saying, in the prison, I think sometimes I'm just wondering, are the inmates that are not seeking education, because there are libraries, legal libraries, there are programs to, get your high school diploma or GED or whatever it may be, is other things, there to do. But I'm wondering if they're having the same issues they were having on the outside. Because some people, when they were going to school, whether it was elementary, high school, middle school, whatever it was, they were having problems comprehending, their cognitive skills were lacking. And those children usually kind of act out in the classrooms or what have you. Or they may have been involved in gang activity, and that's just not important to them to be educated. So when they get arrested, are they bringing that same attitude into the prison and taking the same kind of stance, like, hey, this don't matter to me. What is this? This is it. I don't care about this. The same way with their rights. Do they really care about their rights? Or are they interested in understanding them? Or are they just kind of like, hey, this is it. I'm gonna deal with whatever the way I've been dealing with life.
Yeah, well, you make a very valid point, because a lot of the habits that people acquire in society, they do bring them in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And some people try to make those changes once they get into prison. Some people are really, really complacent with being the way they believe.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
At certain times and certain ages in our lives, we believe that the way it is the way we are. This is just how we are. This is how we do it, or something.
Yeah.
People take this defeated attitude, like they didn't have a chance, or the cards that they were dealt, it just wasn't fair from the gate. So, I just get mine the best way I know how to get mine. And, that's a defeated attitude, because, the opportunities to learn and to be greater than you are available. And like I said, in prison, you got inmates who dispose of books after they get through with them. They set them in the day room. You could just walk up and pick up a book, and there it is. You could learn something from that book. You got GED books, you got pre-GED books sitting around. But if it doesn't fall in the category of a book, that relates to street life, or the game, how to steal slicker, or how to kill quicker, or and I'm not trying to put down urban novels, because some of them are pretty good, though, but this is all a lot of guys read, and they won't grab the book that really educates them. They seek the education of the street knowledge, but they don't want that book knowledge, because they think it's a waste of time, because the time that you have to spend reading and learning and understanding it is a waste of their time, and they could be doing something better. Now, this is not a put down. This is a fact. Inmates in prison are on all sorts of drugs, just like in society.
Right.
Some inmates are complacent with being high and oblivious to facts that matter to their existence, their survival, and their likelihood of getting out of prison. It's almost like a person wants to stay safe, but he wants to erase all the things that can have an impact on him, to just like make it invisible, like it doesn't exist. Numb yourself to the realities, and just be in existence.
Right.
It's just almost like being a occupant of an apartment. You know what I'm saying? You ain't paying no rent. You're just occupying space. You're just there.
Mm-hmm.
And this goes back to upbringing as well, because it starts at home. And people always say, "Oh man, don't bring the family into it. Don't how you going? Who are you?" I'm the same person. I'm the same person that went through it, everything too. I'm the same person that had to go to church, that didn't want to go to church. I'm the same person that didn't understand why it was necessary to have God in your life, as opposed to not having God in your life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the same person who wanted to get out in the streets, hustle, make money, be in the eyes of all the women, and just lie, cheat, steal, and make all that stuff seem cool, for our own glorification,
Right.
To put ourselves on pedestals, and we do that, but that structured household where you have a mother and a father, because most households are only equipped with mothers, and though they do good jobs and the jobs are hard, they're not good enough to teach a man how to be a man, because a woman is a woman. And guys look for things that guys do, and going out doing wrong is what a lot of guys gravitate to, and when they come to prison, they learn how to become men up in here, through their bumps and their bruises, the mistakes that they make, and the lessons that they have to learn. And some guys never become men. They never become men because they're stuck in that adolescent frame of mind where they make excuses. They're blameless. They're shameless. They don't care.
You have 60 seconds remaining.
They don't care about nobody, anything, or themselves, as long as they can stay numb to the feelings. We have to take another pause, and I know this may be a real touchy subject, but these are some of the facts that exist that a lot of people may not want to touch on, and they probably say, well, it's a night you crossing the line, you're exposing game, but there's no game about this. This is real life, and the people who need to be informed, this is what we're doing. We'll be right back.
Okay, Clarence, you were talking about how sensitive this subject can be about the drugs, the lack of education. We're talking about these things and not trying to throw blame on anyone. Reality, facts are facts. This is a reality. This is what's going on the other side of those walls. That's why we're here, to kind of let people know. I just heard about something happened in High Desert that someone OD'd on some fentanyl. And I was like, fentanyl, because people out here in Texas, they are dying, and teenagers, they're in the middle school, high school, youngsters using that stuff, or, it's been identified as something else and they're using it. And so, the drug problem is real in the prison. This man died from an overdose. So, it may be sensitive, but it's real. And if you have a loved one,
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
We need to continue to talk about it, because it needs to stop. Because even though you can be numb to your situation, it's not going to help your situation at all. All right, I just need to throw my 2 cents in.
Okay. All right. Well, this being a real sensitive topic, and I know that, it plays to the heart of many, because I'm here. I've been here for 44 years. I know. But I'm not getting ready to be saying who's doing what, how you're doing it, how you're coming about it. The fact of the matter is, drugs, make things easier for a lot of people, but the consequences are just the same as crimes committed in society, that once you come to prison, you got to pay a cost. So, but you gotta